Avengers Endgame is directed by the Russo brothers and written by Markus and Christopher McFeely. This is the culmination of the MCU up until this point, and I cannot get into the plot of this film. I think that is unnecessary. There has been so much secrecy with this film, and after watching it, necessarily so. This is going to be my absolutely spoiler-free review. I have been a fan of the MCU since its inception. I grew up reading the comics, and most of my adolescent life I've been accompanied by these films into my adult life, into my formative years as a filmmaker. But I've always been a fan first. I'm a filmmaker and a fan first, I'm a critic second. And this film was everything to me. Walking into it, I had no idea the levels that this film would go to on a filmmaking standpoint, on a fan service standpoint, and I mean that in a good way, and just on a character standpoint. Kevin Feige, the Russo brothers, Markus and McFeely, and everyone really behind this really had in their top priority to make a great film that has a great story, solid in it, with every beat very clear for the actors, for the characters, but it also allows for great moments of fan service, and again, I mean that in the best way possible. Fans are the ones who have followed these movies so far. Fans are the ones who have the most to gain and the most to lose with a movie of this scale and grandeur. So why would you not want to service the fans? Moments like that in this film are truly what makes them revolutionaries and makes this a truly awe-inspiring piece of filmmaking in every regard. What they pulled off with this film, in its theme, in its narrative, in its genre bending. This film kind of breaks over so many walls. It's truly awe-inspiring to watch. This is the first Marvel film to really do this. Many of the best Marvel films up until this point are 50% action movies and superhero movies and dramas. This film extends that to another level. This is the first superhero film really to be a drama first. And I think many people will complain about that. The first two acts of this film are really just watching our heroes sobering up about what happened and dealing with the consequences on a daily basis. There's a really somber tone throughout the film, but it really allows us to see the humans behind the masks, be them literal or metaphorical. From Captain America to Iron Man and the others that we know and love, these characters are facing a reality they never faced before, and that is that they lost. This truly is a film about what they lost, and something else that I will not get into. And there's a reason why we've loved these characters so far, but this film really brings that to a whole nother level. It brings everything to a whole nother level. I was an emotional wreck at the end of this film. I was torn apart, even though this film brings so much together. This film knows it's not just a sequel to Infinity War. This film knows it's not just another chapter in the Avengers movies. This film knows the unique circumstances of its existence. There is no other movie like it, for better or worse. To me, it's for the better. Avengers Endgame is a movie like no other on every level. It's the definition of movie magic. It's the definition of writing. When it comes to making an audience root for characters and making every scene feel desperate, there's the sense of desperation, of uncertainty. The characters are not sure of anything, and therefore the audience can't be sure of anything. I was constantly on the edge of my seat. I was gasping for air constantly. I had no idea where this film was going, and I was also constantly fearful. But at every turn, I was crying. I was tearing up because the story takes so many chances, and it really does. This film could have fallen off the wagon rather easily. And once you see it, you'll truly understand what I'm saying. This film is not just paying off something that happened in the other film. It's paying off everything that these characters are and have become throughout all the films that they have been in this universe. It truly felt like something unimaginable and rather indescribable. This is the most comic booky movie to ever comic book in a movie, if that makes any sense. And again, it's a drama rather than being a comic book superhero movie. First and foremost, this is a heavy drama about consequences and about sacrifice, much like Infinity War was. And that's about as much as I'll go into what this film actually is about in terms of subtext. If you're looking for the superhero-y aspect of this film, the third act is heaven. Third act is going to make people scream and yell and all sorts of things. My audience, and it was a press audience, were clapping, cheering. It was a whole thing. It was a party of people who have loved this material and were looking forward to see, ready to criticize it to the smallest detail. And we were just celebrating with these characters that we've loved so much. There's something for everyone in this film. I truly believe that. There's something that will please everyone, as I'm sure there are people who are going to complain about the pacing of the first two acts. To me, they are solid steel. They were carefully plotted to be the way they are. They needed to be the way they are. There are so many moments in this film that people are explaining stuff, and that can easily be looked at as exposition, which in some of the cases it is. The thing is that, as I mentioned, these characters are so uncertain and so unsure of what they understand and what they actually can pull off, that it feels absolutely necessary for them to say everything they say, to do everything that they do the way they do it, and at the pacing they do it in. And I was truly happy. I felt like I was watching the first Avengers again, a movie that is like no other and will, in fact, set the standard for what these movies can and should do in the future. The world changes with Avengers Endgame. The world of cinema, at least, and what you can aspire to do in film. Without an exaggeration, and you guys know I love my MCU films, this is their best story, and it's the story they tell the best. Storytelling and story are really the strong points of this film. It features the strongest performances from these actors playing these characters, and it has the richer emotions with no doubt the best payoff possible in any film that reaches this scale. It's narratively spectacular and three-dimensional, so are these characters. The payoff is just mesmerizing to watch unfold. Movie magic has never had a better synonym than Avengers Endgame. I'm going to give Avengers Endgame an A+. Guys, what did you think of Avengers Endgame? No spoilers, please, otherwise I will delete your comment. Thank you so much for watching. You guys are the best. I'm going to watch this movie a second time ASAP. I cannot wait to see it again, and I hope you guys love it as well. Thank you so much for watching. You guys are the best. So until the next video, stay beautiful, stay geeky, and if you haven't done so yet, click the subscribe button and click the bell so we can be geeky united!